Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Show Up with Camron Gran. Obviously, if you're joining me for the first time in video, you'll see that we are now officially on Grand Central. Why? I'll tell you, because I meant to do a video posted on my channel. I know that people on the radio heard this for sure, but I want to make sure everybody knows that this is what's happening over the course of January. I'm planning to move all my things to one channel, which is Grand Central. It's where you're going to see my podcast. It's where you're going to see my different reactions and other videos. I'm doing that because I feel like if I don't consolidate it to one place at this time, it'll be too much for me to handle because I still have a job I'm working, I'm still in school, I still have all this stuff and my radio show, and I want to make sure that I get it to you guys, but in order to do that, I need to consolidate because it's too much otherwise. But if I somehow get enough subscribers and can figure out a way to get, paid, then I will boost myself to be solely on this, and then maybe I'll split them out again. But before I do that, I will definitely post a question mark for you guys on this channel because I want to make sure that it's something that you guys want, and I'm not just trying to make different channels for no reason. If you're also like, what, Cameron, why do you sound like you have so much energy? You usually sound very, melancholy and slow. I don't know if slow is the right word, so let's not go with that. Basically, if you're watching this, you'll notice that nothing has changed because I'm in front of a green screen, and I've always been in front of a green screen. The only difference is now you don't see my chair. The chair might come back because I do have problems because I was in an accident. Over the Christmas break, I was able to get myself a standing desk because I am a driver. That's what my job normally is. Sometimes it's like a rideshare driver. Sometimes it's a bus driver. And if you're a bus driver, you have so many more rules you have to follow, which means you're usually not able to do things that give you more breaks. So it's more about being safe and disciplined and making sure everyone gets where they need to go safely on the road. If you heard me say safety a bunch of times, that's why, because if safety goes away, everything goes away, and I will not sacrifice safety for anything because I've seen how that can really curse you in the long run. Again, if I'm very nervous because I don't normally stand for this and the standing desk is helping me. Over the next couple of weeks, you'll probably see me introduce you guys to my brand new apartment. I was planning to do a lot of shooting over my break, but then that changed when all of a sudden I was like, oh, I could afford to live on my own. Maybe I should try that because the reason why I live with roommates was because of an accident and things happening with my sister, and I could go into that, and you guys have heard that if you've been listening since season 1. Also, congratulations. I didn't speak over clapping because clapping is terrible to edit over, but I wanted to clap for myself because I had a reason and it went out of my brain because that's where my mindset is right now. The reason why I was clapping was one, I was kind of in a bad spot where I had to flee a state and came back to a place I'd left already. You guys heard the story, and if you want to hear the long story, I definitely went over that with the 3 episodes with my roommate. I did an episode with Ian, I did an episode with AJ, and I did an episode with my friend Anthony, all in season 1. The clapping was for season 2, y'all. We are in season 2, and I know what you're saying. Cameron, we don't only see the first episode of season 2. Where is season 1? That will be coming over the coming days. I will do them one at a time, and you guys will hopefully enjoy them. I didn't decide. I'm gonna be honest. I was not planning on moving, and then I moved, and I just barely got all the stuff out of my old apartment, and now I'm just barely unpacking everything into my new apartment. All that time I had saved up for my Christmas break from school, I used in moving. And so I have episodes filmed. I will be editing them. You guys will be seeing me a lot, and you'll be like, ugh, this guy again? I know. Ugh, I know. I have the same reaction. It's why I hate mirrors. But Cameron, why do you want to be on social media? Because I don't know. That's a great question for anybody who has this desire. Why do you want to be on social media? Because mockery and usually right now it's just mockery, but hopefully as we build this channel, I'll find a community that just loves my outgoing personality and just loves me talking. Wow. Let's just dive into some deep things that I realized over this past break. I moved out of my friend's apartment. They had just had a child, and they probably think that me moving had anything to do with their kid. It did not. It was mostly because I was just like, well, here's the thing. So much of my life has gone against what you're supposed to give people. If I believe what society perpetuates for any kind of title, like this is what a mom's supposed to do, this is what a dad's supposed to do, this is what siblings are supposed to do. That has been a thing that has been messing with me the most in my therapy hours, which is why I'm glad that I finally am back at therapy, even though that did not help me moving, because basically, if you don't know, when you start therapy, all it is for the first couple of weeks is a bunch of questions. And then, because literally day one, I was like, listen, this is my problem. Here you go. Can we start from here? And she's like, no, I can't start from here. Well, no, I can't start from here because I have to make sure that I have all the information in case things go wrong. And then here's the thing I'm going to say. I hate that this is a question, mostly because I feel like this should be a bonus thing that you can ask people. It should not be your intake question, because usually if you're at the point of going to therapy, or for me, because I have been at a partial hospitalization program, if you're at that level, usually that means that you don't have a support system. Sorry to break the news for you. So if you're like, hey, if you can't come to therapy, if it's too hard, if you're thinking about all this stuff, just turn to friends, turn to family. They're there for you. Cameron, just believe in them. Listen, when people are in good mindsets, they can show up for you. But the whole thing is, eventually when you get deep into therapy, they're like, you have to show up for you before you can show up for other people. But my family's so messed up, they can hardly show up for themselves. So it's kind of hard to be relying on them for anything. And at this point, the people that I need to rely on are both like 6 feet under. So there's no point in opening that door, because all I'm gonna get is a bunch of dust in my throat. I'm just gonna cough. My mom was cremated. My dad is actually buried. Let's not think about what he would look like now, because it's been 5 years in the ground. If you don't know, now you know. Cameron has a dark sense of humor, so that was all meant to be joke. If you don't like them, you're welcome. You just realize maybe I'm not for you. See ya. But I'm not going to change who I am, because listen, it is a privilege to have a happy family and a happy life, and to have just be able to be not find things that are terrible hilarious. But if you want to be happy in life, don't let the terrible eat you up. You have to learn how to laugh about the most terrible things in life to have a good time. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I didn't want to cry about my mom passing away, the best thing I could do is make a whole bunch of jokes about her being dead. Literally, my friends have never met my mother. Well, one of my friends has never met my mother, and literally, I walked through the door, I was given the ashes at her funeral, and I was like, hey, AJ, do you want to finally meet my mother? She didn't find all that amusing, but I found that hilarious, because I'm like, look, I'll take you to her. She's right there on that shelf, right over there. Hi, Mom, this is AJ. AJ, this is my mom. So any questions for my mom, AJ? And she just looked at me, because she's like, this is a box of ashes. I don't know how to play along with this bit. So she's not the friend to make those jokes with, but you guys definitely are, I can tell, even though I can't see any of your wonderful faces. Oh my gosh. Sorry, I had to take a drink break because I almost said Papa's thirsty. I don't know why that almost came out of my mouth, but it did, and now it's going to be in the video because that's where I'm at in this current state of my mind. Here's what I'm realizing as I'm talking. I have not spoken to anybody in a minute, and so I'm basically voicing all my thoughts as they come out of my brain. So thank you for coming, intrusive thought. I think they're intrusive. No, yes. Listen, I'm not a therapist. I'm not going to dive into what certain thoughts are. Since this is the beginning of 2024, let's go over my issues. So we're all caught up, and so we can speak about them as we go forward. This episode, if you haven't realized, is kind of like a check-in episode, because I've missed you. For anybody who's planning to subscribe and see me on Grand Central, anybody out there who has a brand like mine who does tons of work, and then after you've done all of the work, you stop at the last step because you have a thing in your brain. I have interfamily therapy. That's one of my things, and I call that person Susan, because Susan Storm from the Fantastic Four puts up a force field to protect herself. I have the cancellation force field, so basically I do a whole bunch of work, but when it comes to actually putting yourself out there to actually get any reward from that work, I just go, nope, doesn't matter. Shut it down, get out of there, run. Get out of there as fast as you can. That's pretty much it. So that's Susan. I've talked about Bertha. She's my depression. I imagined her as a cow. Ironic that my sister's boyfriend's mother is named Bertha. I named her before I even remembered or knew that, I think. And then Sheldon is my anxiety. I don't know why, because Sheldon from Big Bang Theory is the only other Sheldon I know, and he doesn't seem to have a lot of anxiety because people usually hinder to him. Well, so maybe he does have anxiety. I could spend an entire episode just diving into the facts of Sheldon. And also the only other Sheldon who is real the only other Sheldon I met who was real was a jerk. So I'm not even going to think about that. Well, I guess that would work, because the whole point is interfamily therapy is not hearing voices. I don't have that. We're going to be upfront and personal in 2024. I don't hear voices. Let me clarify that really quick. I don't hear things outside of myself or Pat that are talking to me. I don't have that, but I do have these waves of emotion I don't understand, but it's always this thing coming out of this dark cloud. I haven't named the dark cloud yet. I probably should, because usually when I'm doing well and and my body's like, oh, we're doing great. Let's move. Let's do like a little dancing. Let's like feel happy, you know, do these wonderful things. Eventually I'm like, Cameron, you've been happy too long. The black cloud's gonna send you something from Bertha. You think you're happy? Why don't you think about this and get depressed? For instance, speaking of being depressed, decided to start off 2024 with 2 brand new things in my life. The first being a new apartment, a 1-bedroom, kind of making the 1-bedroom a film studio, and I'm living out in the large living room. I don't care what your opinion is about that, because I still have like I will still have a couch, I will still have a television, I'll still have a dining room table, I'll still have those things. It just also has room for like a bed and like a closet if I really want it, and I'm doing that because I love YouTube and I need a production space. I can't shut down. If I shut down, I will not be successful. I've realized that. You've realized that. That's why you guys haven't been coming. And the whole point of any industry is learning what your faults are so you can fix them. And hopefully we can fix the fault in our stars. I hate myself for saying that, but I had to say it because a thought came, thought went, now we're continuing. I also got a brand new car. And why would I take on these 2 things at once? I'll tell you. I have voiced many times that I have attempted suicide. I have suicidal ideation. Being very upfront about it. I don't want to call it unaliving. I don't understand why YouTube or TikTok wants suicide to be a taboo thing, so you get like not advertised for it or whatever. Because the whole point of ending a stigma about a subject is actually saying the subject matter. Because if you change the word suicide to unaliving, you are still making the stigma a thing. And my whole thing is, don't make it a stigma. Don't change the word. Just make the word something that is more easily accessible and able to be talked about. And if you change the word, you're making it so A, some people might not understand what you're saying, and 2, you're making it something that's lesser than, because you're trying to make people okay with hearing it. And I think that it's okay to feel awkward in conversations in 2024. We can't learn, we can't become better people, we can't, be more successful with who we are as just individuals if we don't take a moment to figure out who we actually are as people. You know what I'm saying? What else do I want to say to you guys? Because it's important on this subject that I also say, and every time I bring up the subject, I make sure I reiterate it, is that if you have any thoughts at all, and you're not sure to turn to, and you're wondering if it's even the stage at which you should bring something up, just call the suicide hotline. Usually they are a resource that will help you at any stage, because their hope is they don't want you to call them literally when you're doing it. They do want you to call them, don't get me wrong. You should call them if it's the day of. You should still call. But if you called them before it was the day of, and you're like, I'm having these thoughts, they're increasing, what can I do? They can set you up with like resources that will help you like decrease those emotions. But yes, anytime, call no matter what. My point was you don't need to wait to call, because for some reason in my head I was like, I just feel so disrespectful if I call and I'm not about to go and do it, Isn't that so disrespectful? Like, that's like a waste of their time. It's not the day of for me. That is a very I don't want to say naive. It's this very stupid thought, because it was a thought excusing the fact that I was having those thoughts. And this all wraps back around to why I have a new car. My car expired from being able to have Lyft and Uber, and that is an important thing for me, because we all don't have job security in 2024. Things could change tomorrow. Something that was concerning me is I love my job, but I don't love the people who I work with. They don't feel like they're there for me. I mean, they will do, like, it's like a W-2 job, so I do have like workers' comp and that kind of stuff, but they're not like, oh, I have this issue coming up, let me talk about it. They also said they would be there and work with me around my school schedule, and that's not been a thing for me. And so it's like, I want to stay in this job for as long as I can, but they knew, but when they hired me, because I was so upfront about the fact that I'm in school, that might be an issue, and if they won't work with me, I need to make sure that I have something that I can do if it comes down to it. But my car was from 2013, it's expiring when you can drive it. It also was reaching 150,000 miles, which are all things that will cancel you from being able to drive rideshare. So these are the reasons why I was thinking about getting a new car, and the thing that kind of pushed me over the edge is the fact that I have attempted suicide 3 times, and all 3 of those times have been in that car. That's why I found it ironic when I finally sold the car and I was unpacking everything and putting it in my new car. When I left, the last thing that little bugger did to me is it cut my finger open. I could show it to you, but literally I was taking out my camera and it literally sliced my finger open and I was bleeding. Luckily all over my bags, not all over the seats, because I didn't want to get even less money for it. I did that for that major reason, because I'm like, this car took me to my sister's, and that was negative. This car was there for me when I left from Washington to Minnesota because of my first attempt at suicide. And also it's the season for me because my first time I attempted was December 24th, 2019. That one's the one that's most prevalent in my mind. It's the one that I'm most aware of. I know other months, but like that one always makes me feel weird. And it's amazing to me when the holiday's all about being selfless and being there for others, how people can get so wrapped up in the presentation of a holiday that they forget that you're actually there to spend time with family, not there to put on a front or a face. I don't know what you call it. Like it's like a false reality. All of that is to say, I got a new car. I actually really love it. It does a lot of things that my other car did not. It will give me opportunities. It also will allow me to move without having to do crazy things because it's an SUV, so I can get a trailer if I want and I can pack it and be ready to move when the time comes and I don't have to rely on other people. What I have learned about myself when it comes to this, I was in an accident. I just moved all my stuff by myself. The amount of pain my back is in from that is crazy. Part of that is my own fault because I was given exercises and I was sacrificing all that because I was like, just get to January 8th. January 8th is when the holidays, like the school trip holiday is over. Get to that day. That's when we're back to our normally scheduled programming. That's when we're trying to actually be there for ourselves. But if I can just get to January 8th, then everything will be great and dandy. Do not delay your health for any reason. I learned that and I kind of regret it, but it's a lesson that I learned, and I learned the hard way, and I could feel bad about that. But that's also why I was so grateful that I got this standing desk, because it is amazing to me how much pain you can get from sitting. Because you're not realize when you haven't been in an accident, you don't realize the pain your body naturally starts to have when you sit for so long. And I guess I was aware of it, but it was so far back in my mind, I wasn't actually totally coherent for it. I mean, I was coherent. I don't do anything that would make me like delirious, except when I get really tired. Because when I get really tired, it's all bets are off. School trips in high school, I was like, guys, I swear I am completely normal, but you have us marching at all hours of the night. You have us like barely sleeping. We're going on a bus. Buses are terrible. They're nightmares. Can't tell you the dream, the nightmare feel I have just from like all the thoughts I had about what would happen if somebody like just hit our buses. Because in Washington, at least when I was in high school, they don't have seatbelts, and so literally you're just like in a school bus seat, unless you're lucky enough in a band to get the front two rows, because that's the only rows that have seatbelts. And literally the amount of times I was like, oh, this would be so easy for this butt to flip over and us to be rolling around like a bunch of sardines. And I'm just like, this isn't the smartest thing. And then you get to Minnesota and I drive a bus, and every single seat in Minnesota has a seatbelt. People choose not to wear them, but that's not my fault. We have signs up. I say you should wear them, especially when it's really icy. I'm like, hey, it's been really icy. I've been slipping a lot. Please put your seatbelt on. But after that, I can't force you to do anything, but at least I've advised you. Because if I'm slipping and sliding, I'm going everywhere, you bet your behind, I'm going to tell you to put your seatbelt on, because the last thing I want is for something to happen to you because you didn't feel like putting a seatbelt on, which everybody put on your seatbelt. I mean, especially in Minnesota where the snow gets crazy and the ice gets cold. I don't know why that was the thing I wanted to say, because ice is definitely cold. It's the coldest water can get. The other thing I decided, because we were talking about the new car and the new apartment, I just need a space where I can be myself and be able to create whenever I want. Also, I wanted a space where I could save money by staying home. And when you have two different rooms, or you are able to actually like spread out more, it feels more like you're doing different things at home. I love New York City. People are like, but it's so cramped, it's so small. But the thing that New York City has nobody else has is it is a walking city. If you're bored, just go out the stairs, go down there. Probably go down 5 flights, because if you want a cheap apartment, you're probably living on the top floor. You're gonna walk around, you're gonna see new things. You're just going to be out experiencing different things all over, different cultures, different foods, different everything. And I love that adventure. When you're driving, you kind of have to find the adventure yourself. You can't just stumble upon things. You can, but it's harder because you're not like in the vibe of the people outside of a restaurant or a bar or like a game thing. It's like you immediately get a vibe when you're walking past someplace, whether or not it's something you want to explore or not. And that's actually something that's important to me. But what's more important to me is actually being able to create and get my degree degree because I still decide whether or not I want to continue after I get this degree. If I decide I want to continue, I want to make sure that I have a good degree. I'm also pursuing a real estate license. And here's what I'm talking about. So you're not like, Cameron, you are trying so many different things. How do you find the time? That's a great question. I don't know why I'm talking like this, but it's accurate to what the question is. How do you find the time? Especially for water. Not a sponsor. Could you imagine water being your first sponsor? Call me. All jokes. I'm boiling this down to is part of what I was realizing with Susan, the protector, the force field, the thing that stops me from changing my habits, because my habits are the things that have kept me alive for 28 years. I want to reach more than 29, so I need to change those habits. But it's kind of like having a breakup where only one person wants to actually listen to you breaking up with them. The other one doesn't want to hear you. Just wants to keep doing what it's always been doing because it's like, bruh, if it's not broke, don't fix it. And you're like, bruh, it is broken. I've been china all over the floor being stepped on multiple times. We need to change, Susan. Yeah, but Susan doesn't want to listen to me, and it's so sad. I'm talking about the Jessica Alba Susan. Kate Mara, she's good, but nobody doesn't even touch a hair on Jessica Alba's Susan Storm. Also, if I know I've just revealed to the world that I am a nerd, please do not attack me. Nerds are awesome, and they're not just a candy. What am I on about? I do not know. The point I was making was the reason why I'm doing all these things and the reason why I'm exploring is because when you have that voice in your head always telling you to stop, you never find the things that you actually want to do. You just have the things that you are considering doing. And then those add up to the point where it feels like nothing's ever going to happen because you don't have enough time to try any of it. I just realized, no, stop thinking. My problem in life is thinking. I think so much to wonder I do anything because the amount of thoughts that I have about things that are so mundane, I'm like, people who are not me cannot think as much as I am. Because I once spent an entire day thinking about, this is when my depression was great. It was like monumentous. I thought about moving my finger and I thought all the ways I could move my finger and it was impossible to move my finger. And then when you stop thinking, then you can move your finger. Also, confrontation. Not a confronter. I will do anything in my power not to confront somebody on anything, even if you are a piece of dirt who needs to be confronted by the way you're treating me. I'll probably say nothing to you, go home and go on a rant by myself, just being like, man, that person was a jerk. I should have said this, and this, and this, and this, and this. Oh man, yeah. What would have happened if you said this and this? Oh yeah. And then after that, what would have happened? And then you're like, and then you're living in this fantasy world that's like this imaginary set of events that never actually occurred. And you're like, what in the world have you been doing all day, Cameron? You're living in reality. You're not living in a fantasy what-if scenario. This is not Marvel. This is not Disney Plus. This is real life. We need to stop what-ifing and we need to actually what-ing. We need to start doing the what, not thinking about the what, Which is why I already have plans to push myself even further in 2024. I have plans to audition. I already have my first one lined up. If I get in, I will be so happy. I came to visit my friends in 2019 October. I was already having problems with my family, so I came to have a detox. And I was like, guys, can I just come? It's Ian's birthday. Let's celebrate. Let me get away from this so I can reset myself so I can go back home and then amp up to my next stage in life. And then I was like, oh man, Minnesota is so nice, and I have these two friends here, and I can just be me. I don't have all these people making me feel less than I am, and I don't know why you give other people that much power over you, Cameron. I'm not speaking myself in the third person for no reason. That's so you guys understand. Also, it's just fun to speak about yourself in third person, so you should try it, Just really try it. What else I could say about this is when I came here, I found where I'm living. Not going to tell you because obviously you should not tell people where you live on the internet because I may be nobody now, but I don't know if something should make me blow up. I don't want them to be like, oh, he said where he lived in this episode. You see what I just did there, everyone? That's called what-ifing the future. It's great for preparing yourself for things to come, but if you do that for too long, you forget to actually live, and that is an example of how my brain works. The place I'm living is a place that I wanted to live since 2019. It took me until now to actually get here, and it's amazing to me how it happened because I actually thought I was leaving Minnesota for good in 2022, and I never lived in this apartment. And then I came back, and then now I'm living here, and I'm like, wow, okay, I had a dream, it was this one, and it came true, but it didn't come true in the events I thought. I thought I would never live here because I thought I'd be gone by now. I have caught up I'm not 100% caught up to where I need to be so I can move to California, but I'm caught up enough that I can start prepping. Also, I don't have to be in California to start auditioning. That's the other thing. Like, audition, stop waiting for these, amazing things to happen to just be yourself and jump in. Just do it. You know, Nike said it best. Like, stop putting off the good part of life, because none of us know how much time we have left, and that's something that has definitely been increasing in my brain. That's also why I went back to therapy, because I have other goals I want out of life, not just a career, not just like YouTube, not just all these other things. I do want to eventually be in a relationship, but I have things that whenever I start looking into actually dating somebody, my body just shuts down, and it's not my thoughts, my body just shuts it down, and that concerns me. Also, the way I was shown love is not the way that I want to have love from other people, and if that's the only way to have love, I feel like, is it worth it to love? I'm 28 and I've never been in a relationship. Truth bomb. I have dated somebody for a while, but nothing that was ever like, oh, we are together. Okay. My parents will never meet somebody I'm with. I know, good fortune has sprung upon me. I know any big life goal that Hollywood has made you to believe is a big life goal that you're supposed to have with a significant other will be an impossibility for me, because I don't have those things. I have friends like in me. I have loved ones, a chosen family for sure. And I also realized it's not worth it to keep other people in your brain. Like, they should not occupy your mind rent free. They gotta pay, you know, because it is a struggle out here. You're trying to make rent. You're just trying to do so much, and it feels like it all the time. If you want to be in my brain 24/7, you better be paying me, because otherwise you need to get out. Your eviction notice has been sent. You need to go back to go. I don't want you here. See you later. Bye-bye. Okay? Okay. Something that I tried on Grand Central that I actually want to get back into was my baking show. That was something that I did that I was just like, stop thinking, just jump in. So I have plans because I do want to become healthier, and I have set myself up to do meal prepping. I've set myself up to actually measure and do things for me. Hopefully it will have long-term effects that in the positive for my life, and having this kitchen and getting the things ready so I can do that hopefully will be great. The only thing that I have to remind myself is you're beginning and it's okay. Almost my 10-year reunion for high school. You know, I graduated in June of 2014. So 2024 June is when it would be 10 years. Haven't got an invitation, but it's okay. I don't know if I even want to go. Okay, keep your invitation. Yeah, going back to Washington in this like climate, whatever. You know, trying to mask all my anger and jealousy and betrayal. All I want from 2024 is just advancement, and to maybe if I don't get all the way to being 100% surviving on online like YouTube and like other businesses that I'm thinking about starting, if I could get to 50% of like working in this job, 50% working for myself online, I would be happy. Like if it's a 5-year goal to actually work full time on YouTube, I'd love it. Also, here's the thing that's true about acting, about any entertainment thing. If you're like Cameron, you have struggle staying on schedule. I know. And believe you me, when I'm not on schedule, I don't forget about it. It's something that's in my brain 24/7. I'm trying to stop thinking about being on schedule and actually start doing things to make myself on schedule. That's part of the changes happening on January 8th, tomorrow. That I was like, okay, you're moving tomorrow, no matter what, we can reduce how much we're unpacking. We're going to focus on staying on schedule, because you need to establish a relationship with your viewers, and you want to make sure that they know that you're serious. And the point I was getting at is, could I have stopped? Maybe. The reason why I haven't stopped is because something they say a lot, Amelia Clark has said this, I think I saw Reese Witherspoon say this once, I definitely know my teachers in acting school said this, if you can do anything else and be happy, you probably should. Because otherwise, it's kind of a lot of being alone. It's kind of a lot of hoping and wishing and like rejection and all those things. And so if you can be good at anything else, if you can let this go and be happy with these other things, then you should. I have found that I am only happy doing this one thing. So if I'm only happy doing this one thing, why am I not doing that one thing, you know? Why am I not doing it? And that's because Susan doesn't want to let her force field down. She wants to keep me in my protection, and whenever I'm about to break out of that force field, she wants to make me so sleepy and restless and want to go to bed. Oh my gosh, I could sleep forever if Susan had her way. But Susan, we don't want to like go away at 29. We want to thrive. We want to get out there. We want to meet people. We want to work for people that we've been applying for a while now, and then they're like, this guy keeps applying. Can he just get the hint we don't want him? And I'm like, can you get the hint that I don't care whether or not you want me or not? I'm gonna apply until I decide to stop applying, okay? Wow, that was a rant. I'm sorry. I have a lot of pent-up emotions about some people that I've applied for, mostly because of myself. I feel like, let's just say it. You know what I'm saying? Let's just say something. It's an update I told you guys I'd give you guys, but I didn't because I didn't want to be negative. But 24 was also about giving tea. I'm not upset about it. I just didn't release this video because it felt like a very negative thing to do. Because last year I did a challenge where I had applied to work for Mr. Beast, and then I did hear back, and then I didn't even care about rejection or getting approved or any of that kind of stuff. What I wanted to do at the end of this was, I'm like, okay, no matter what he says, I'm gonna end it by like eating and reviewing Feastables. Okay, I don't know if you guys know about this, but Feastables is all about branding. It's all about propaganda. And I'll say this, and I'll tell you why. I hate chocolate. So let's start there. The reason why I thought about doing that video of just trying this chocolate, because I was like, already I was gonna be out because I'm like, I don't like the thing to begin with, so it's not be hard to beat me. But then Carl at Mr. Beast said that he hates chocolate, but he loves this. And I was like, okay, so if somebody hates chocolate as much as I do, and he likes Feastable, maybe they actually made something that's worth investigating. And then I ate all of it, and I thought it tasted worse than chocolate, which is like Hershey's and like big name. And so I didn't do a video because I was like, I don't want to be negative. But like I did have started to feel like, is this all just propaganda? It's not real like results. We haven't actually tested like people actually like this stuff, and people might like it. I can't answer this because again, you can't ask somebody who hates chocolate whether or not what somebody's making is actually good chocolate. You know what I'm saying? I just tasted it because I was like, oh, he says it's not like chocolate. It's better than chocolate. And I'm like, you know, I probably should have known that I shouldn't have done this video because I literally thought somebody had made something that was better than chocolate, so I could finally figure out what everybody else enjoys about chocolate so much. Because every single person I know that's not me is like, oh, I love chocolate. My friend went to I forgot, Ghana, I think is where she went, and she brought me back chocolate. It's literally fresh. Like I could taste the freshness of it, like the cocoa bean, you could taste it. But that's why I hate chocolate. I can taste the cocoa bean in American chocolate, and it's just so overpowering and bitter, and I don't like it. But she brought me back white chocolate because I like white chocolate because it's fake chocolate. It's not real. It tastes artificial. It's a different texture. And I tried hers, and it did taste good, but it did taste terrible because it tasted like cocoa beans. And I'm like, no, thank you. I appreciate the gift of chocolate because this country is known for chocolate. Chocolate's not for me. And I was hoping that somebody would find me chocolate that is good for people who are chocolate haters. Because I would, like, listen, I played Augustus Gloop in high school. I cannot tell you the amount of jokes that I made every time, because they gave me a giant, big Wonka chocolate bar, and they're like, this is your golden ticket bar. You found it in this big mofo, you know what I'm saying? And I'm like, oh, okay. You want me to eat this entire thing in front of this entire school? Because we also went around and did like teaser portions of Willy Wonka for elementary school. I tripped on a couple of children. I apologize to those children. They were still alive then, so hopefully they're still alive now. If not, rest in peace. I don't know. I had to say that. Intrusive thought. But I was just like, this is such a big lie because he falls into this chocolate river because he loves chocolate so much, and I'm falling into this chocolate river because I was told to in a script, because I would rather like be over there in that grass eating that teacup that everybody else loves. Although the teacup's also made of chocolate, I probably wouldn't have cared. Now, you know, Violet's gum, maybe, no, because I don't like gum either. All that was to say that 2024 will probably have more reflection about my past. That's why I was going off on my past and like things that I tried, because it took a lot for me to actually apply to go to work for a YouTuber, because every YouTuber I've ever followed, if someone says, how do you get a job with a creator? They're like, oh, or become a YouTuber. They're like, oh, you just get a job with another YouTuber. And I'm like, okay, so if every YouTuber is telling you that to get successful, you need to get a job with another YouTuber, and no YouTuber wants to actually give you a job or tell you where to apply to actually get the job, why is everybody saying this? Because now it feels like a lie that nobody actually wants to follow. You know what I'm saying? Like, if every YouTuber is telling you to work for a YouTuber, then why aren't any YouTuber actually hiring? You know what I'm saying? Just an idea. Also, there are parts of myself that I want to explore in 2024, just because Jennifer Garner made a movie called Yes. I think it's just called Yes Day or something, where like for a day she says yes to anything that her kids ask within reason, but obviously for a movie they said yes to even more extreme things. And the reason why I love that is I feel like so many of us get so used to saying no to things that we forget that we have a place in this world world too, we can say yes, we can do those things. It's all about just jumping in and giving ourselves permission to just experience life. Stop trying to be perfect, just try to experience life, because if you can just experience the small things and find the wonder that is life, you will be amazed. Which brings me back to what I talked about last week. For anybody who listened to this on the radio, The Color Purple came out. I love this musical. I loved it so much. I thought the movie was really, really good. I want to watch the original and read the book again before I watch it again, only because I have issues with the film, but I don't think the film is bad overall. I do feel like, I don't understand, if it's the same runtime almost as the play, why would you cut out parts to me that are pivotal parts of the play? Or also, if you're going to show characters in their mind, why would you not allow a character to go into their mind for the most pivotal part of a movie? Because then it feels kind of weird if you don't let it be like a mental thing. For anybody who's watched Chicago or anything like that in a musical genre, where like it's real world stuff, but when they start singing, it becomes like this internal monologue showcased on a stage. So it's not actually happening on the street. It's just their mental song. If you follow Disney, it's called The Character's Heart Song. That's what I know. His name is Howard. I forgot if that's his first or last name, but that was something that Howard, who made like Little Mermaid, talked about. Is that like every character needs to have a heart song because it gives them something to fight for in the movie. And I feel like we all deserve our heart song, and we just have to find those. For me, it's not a heart song, but something that I saw in a movie that really resonated with me and what I want out of life is whoever I find, whoever is going to become my person, I want them to actually see me. And that's something that I've only ever seen showcased and done really well in Avatar. Also really done in Avatar 2, because it's really pivotal to the plot, is that until Jake in Avatar 2 finally sees his son, things go wrong. When he sees him and actually accepts him, that's when they can actually form plans to better themselves. And that's kind of what I want. Is I don't want to pretend or be a different person with somebody. I want them to see me for who I am, and for me to see them for who they are, and for us to develop a life together without us having to put on fake fronts. And I feel like that's something that we should all strive for with whoever we're with, because life is exhausting if you're always trying to adhere to somebody else's needs. Like, if they're not okay with something, that's great, but you also need to be happy in your own life. And so it's kind of like, how can we compromise? How can we make sure that we're being there for each other and we're not making sure that only one person's ever actually getting their way? You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? I don't know why I'm saying that so much in this episode. Because for me, I love creating. I love storytelling. I want to figure out how to develop and build on that. And that's what I'm hoping you guys will be here for me with. I can't believe it's been a year, because I've actually found old emails for this on Frogtown Radio, which is where this streams every Monday at 5 p.m. WFNU for a 94.1 in the Twin Cities area, FM. If you just want to hear me on the radio, not to brag, or if you just want to watch me on YouTube, you can. Also, this is on podcast, so you can find me on Apple Podcasts. Anywhere you find your podcast, you can find me, Cameron Gran. Show Up with Cameron Gran is what this podcast is called. But to follow me, you have to go to Gran Central, because that's where all my content is going to be consolidated into one place, so you guys don't have to search the entire internet for me, unless you want to. I mean, I don't know why you'd want to search the entire internet for me, but you can. It seems like a hard journey, because I feel like I'm the third person that shows up. I could be a couple pages in, because, Cameron is not, I'm not number one. You have the rapper first. He usually comes up before me. It's fine. I don't have an apostrophe in my name, so remember that. CAMRON, no apostrophe needed. Bam. My hope is that I can just build a community that wants to support not only me, but just anybody out there struggling, because it is so hard to be a person, and I feel like we forget that sometimes, which is why we forget if we're not constantly checking with each other how other people are doing. And that's kind of what I want people to do, is if we check in on each other, it'll be easier for us to know how to be happy and how to be good and how to thrive in a world that constantly challenges us, makes us feel like we don't deserve good things when we do. We deserve to be loved. We deserve to be happy. We deserve anything that we put our mind on, we deserve. And I want you guys to know that. I want myself to know that. I want to actually be there to advocate for mental health and actually showcase some more DBT skills, and I hope you guys will follow me on that journey. All I know is that so much of life gets lost because of our thoughts. When we ignore our mental health, that's when things can get challenging. When we address it, that's when we can allow something that could turn into a 5-hour mental health trip to become only like a 5-minute nuisance on a day's worth of fun. You know, I have felt that sacrifice. I felt that never-ending amount of time. Like, when will I reach the other side? How will I get out of this? I was feeling that way the end of this 2023. That's how I was feeling. I was really upset when I got into therapy and the first 3 sessions were just about us doing paperwork because I had so much I needed to deal with. And I was so grateful that I had DBT, because without DBT, I don't know if I would have made it, because it was just, I had so much pent-up emotion and I had no outlet for it. And the thing I thought that would give me relief wasn't. And it's hard to figure out how to communicate with a new therapist what you need. Luckily, it got better, and our next session is just going to be us talking. And that's going to be good because I need somebody to talk to that I can just open up and be like honest about how I feel. Sometimes it's great to go to friends, and sometimes it's great to go to family if that's an option for you. But sometimes it feels like the people that you're supposed to turn to are just too much to even address, so you want to talk to somebody else. And I've definitely been in that situation recently. What I love with The Color Purple is something that Celie says is people come into my life and people leave it. But I'm here, which means that she is still happy and she's still loved because she's here. In this context, she kind of means herself with God. Like, she's okay with being those things because she is all that she needs to be loved. And that's beautiful, because when you have self-love, nobody can take that from you. And that's kind of, as we start to follow up into the end of this, I want to say a couple of things about how we can show up for ourselves in 2024. Because all I want to say to anybody who has ever watched this channel, or even if you're new, hi, hello, thank you for joining me for the first time. I appreciate your business. I don't know what else to call it. I appreciate you taking the time to see me in my face. Bing, money shot. Or listening to me in my voice. Bing, money voice. I just know that when you show up for yourself, I always imagine it as, my mom definitely played favorites as I was growing up, and she would do all these things for my younger brothers, and then somehow found out that it was okay to miss big things for me. It's not that it's like a competition, but like, if you only have one thing a year or 4 things of a year, but your other siblings have something every week that's the same thing because they were in sports or whatever, I feel like maybe you should show up to my thing that's only 4 days out of a year rather than 52 at least in a year. I guess that's jealousy coming. I don't know if it's jealousy, but it's more of like, I imagine, because I always wanted other people to show up for me, because I was forced to watch my mom always show up for them, and I never got angry at them about it. It was mostly about my mom, because I'm like, so you're capable of doing this, why can't you do that for me? And so that was something that tortured me for so long, and then I was like, no, I am done waiting for other people to show up for me. I am worthy of coming into the room and being ready and being prepared and having myself at the ready to get what I need in life. I can show up, I can do the thing, I can be ready, and I will thrive. I'm not going to allow anything to keep me down. If other people want to join me on that ride, that's great. If they don't want to, that's fine. I don't need you, okay? I don't need people in my life to be happy. I love people. I was talking to my friend the other day, and she's like, you are a people person. You love being around them. And I do. And the thing I realized there's a danger of that is, if you love being around people, that's something that brings you genuine joy, you run the risk of being lost when people don't show up. And it sucks to be lost. It sucks to feel like you're on your own. I don't feel like I'm an extrovert. I don't feel like I am. There's a term for that. It's like it's not people pleaser. I'm a people pleaser, but that's not what I'm talking about. It's like you're a people person. Like, you love being around people and like talking to them. And I do. What I realized is I would rather be talking to somebody and being in a room playing games or doing something with somebody than doing most anything else. But what I don't like doing is sitting in a room with people when we're supposed to be doing stuff, and I'm sitting there not talking and not doing anything. And I'm like, didn't you ask me to hang out? If we're supposed to be hanging out, why am I sitting over here and talking to nobody, staring at a wall while you guys are playing video games or being on your phone? Like, weren't we supposed to hang out today? It's okay. I could be bitter, or I could just be like, you know what? I'm gonna remove myself and go spend my day doing something that I love so I can be happy and not spend a day like allowing other people to make me feel bad. Because you know what? Clearly they were enjoying themselves. I'm gonna go enjoy myself. See you later, alligator. Maybe next time, crocodile. That's not the lingo, but I am known for messing that thing up. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that reputation because I love me. And that's what I learned with how showing up for yourself really comes into play. When you show up for yourself, when you truly love yourself, you don't allow other people to tear you down. You don't allow other people to make it so you don't go to a new restaurant and try. You don't wait for life to begin when other people are there with you. If they're there with you, great, bonus. You have people to enjoy yourself with. If they don't happen to be there, fine. Don't wait to live. Live every day to the fullest, because you don't know how much time you have left. And that is what I'm going to do in 2024. If you guys are watching this on YouTube or in the podcast, feel free to leave me a review. I'd love to hear what you guys want to do in 2024. Resolutions are a thing. I try to make them realistic because I realize that big resolutions have a habit of failing for me. Mostly I stop doing them, so I fail them. They don't fail me because I know I'm not going to do them when I make them, which is a problem you shouldn't do if you're going to make a resolution. If you are watching this on YouTube, on Grand Central, please feel free to subscribe if you want to hear more of it. And you can, subscribe. The channel name is @Gran_Central. It will be every Monday at 5 p.m. because it's the same time as the radio show. That helps me make sure it's on task and everything gets due at the correct time, because I want to make sure that you guys can follow this, and it will be weekly. Every Monday, I have them ready. Can't wait to share them with you. With that, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Feel free to give me a comment, a thumbs up, any kind of thing that you want to give. I would appreciate it, because every little bit from you guys help, and I can't wait to see you guys next time. Also, if you listen to me on the radio, feel free to enjoy this next song. It's going to be amazing. I don't know what it is because I'm going to stop, but they'll play something for you and you're going to love it, because Frogtown Radio has amazing music at 94.1 FM in the Twin Cities area. Okay, that's it. I'll see you next time. Hit the bell button if you want to get notified when I post more videos. Other than that, bye-bye. See you later, everybody. Show up for yourself. Why? Because you matter. Bye.